Tell me something silly. Go ahead and lie to me before it's over. Lie to me. I got all day.
I was ashamed when I realized that life was a costume party, and I attended with my real face.
Tavares.
Right in the butt?
No.
Less than a minute now.
Tool time for 200.
This term for a long-handled gardening tool can also mean an immoral pleasure seeker. Ken?
What's a hoe?
No.
She has a very long back.
Taylor Swift.
Hey, throw that motherfucker. Throw that motherfucker. Hey, throw that motherfucker. Throw that motherfucker. Throw that motherfucker.
Hey guys, this is my girlfriend Becca. She has cancer, but I love her. Ugh! You can't find no black bitch with cancer? Girl, I know, right? With his weak ass.
I'm into older looking women, you know? Yeah, I'm into older looking women. Means I mostly date white women in their 20s.
Unreasonable expectations. Why do humans place unreasonable expectations on each other? What do I mean? As an example, we know that all humans are non-monogamous. Why do we place this unreasonable expectation of monogamy on each other? You know, when people get married, they say those silly ass vows and they say something like to have and to hold. Why place that unreasonable expectation on that person, knowing that you are non-monogamous and that person has been non-monogamous? Why place that unnecessary expectation on each other? It's just unreasonable. We all hoes at the end of the day.
I know I'm not worthy of you, but I just can't help loving you. It's like wanting to touch a star. You know you'll never reach it, but you've just got to keep trying.
I'm not sorry for what I'm about to do.
What are you doing?
Damn garbage.
Garbitch.
What's going on, everybody? It's Monk Dan on bike with another stream. Let's go, man. Thank you, YouTube, for letting me do my stream today. Hopefully everything goes well. If you are new to the channel, I appreciate you for being here. Please hit the like button for me, send me some comments, and subscribe, baby. What I like to do on my channel, on this channel, is I like to seek and share wisdom through philosophy. And here is a great example of sharing philosophy. This one comes out of chapter 4, Bad Girls, Bedside Book of Bad Girls, Outlaw Women of the American West by Michael Rutter. And where is the wisdom? Well, we'll talk about it, but here's one thing. We're going to talk about Sally's skull of chapter 4. But here's a great example by none other than Coach Greg Adams, CGA. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams, where he has this powerful quote. And the quote says, "Men are in love, women are in business." And this is a great example. Let's get into it, man. Let's not wait any longer. All right. So Sally Skull, just a quick background of her. She was born Sarah Jane Newman in 1817 in Illinois Territory, east of St. Louis. Her family called her Sally, so that's where she got the name Sally from, and I'll tell you where she got the skull part from. So her family called her Sally, and she was the youngest of 10 children. Wow, all right? So her background, her story, her life was pretty rough. Not saying that she was poor, but when I say rough, what I mean is that she, and I'll kind of give you an example here. What it was about her was she, being the youngest of 10 children, her dad would be away. You know, he had to take care of the home, fight off. At this time, this is the time where the natives were fighting against I guess, the Confederacy, or before the Confederacy. I'm not sure how you want to label this. People migrating and people moving east or west, moving westward, and so you got native tribes in the land and blah blah blah. So her father had to, at this time, fathers had to go out and hunt and so on and so forth to provide for the family. And let me just see how they characterize it. Let me see it how they have it. I'll just read this portion. It says, in 1823, the Newman family, hoping to better their situation, loaded their possessions onto a wagon and moved to Fayette County, Texas. Like so many struggling ranch wives, Sally's mother, Rachel, was left alone while her husband fought Indians, drove cattle, and worked on the range. So the dad was away quite a bit, busy, so on and so forth. So that left the mom and the children to themselves in a sense. But what struck me odd was, I'm like, damn, that's still a large-ass family. We said there was 10 children, right? 10 fucking kids plus the mom. But it seems like Sally was the only one that was doing something around the house. The mom helped too, but Sally, from the text, Sally was the most active of the family. Like she was, and they even said on here, she was handling the fucking ranch or the farm damn near by herself. She was running that bitch. Right? So here it is. It says, by the time Sally was 12, she was said to ride and shoot skillfully and bring invention and wild hog for the family table. She also had an affinity for livestock, especially horses, the great love of her life, and she learned the art of horse trading at a young age. So she's doing all these things at a young age, at 12. Wow. 12 years old, bro. Like, whoa. You're like 12 years old. I'm just in middle school. Was I in middle school? Maybe, yeah, going to middle school. No, I probably was somewhere along that line, maybe going to middle school, or I can't remember. But at a young age, I wasn't manning a farm. I wasn't handling these type of responsibilities. Put it this way, when I was 12, man, I couldn't even keep my goddamn house key. I could not keep my house key, man. I was as what they call a latchkey kid. So I did have some responsibility of taking care of myself. So at this time, my mom, and since I guess we're talking about stepdads, I had a step dummy in my fucking life. And they would give me a key. It started when I was in 5th grade. I would get a key, and I would actually, first I would go to the nursery. I was still going to a nursery. And then they were like, yo, man, look, man, you walk, because I was trying to do basketball. And I was playing on the basketball team. So after practice, I would walk to the nursery. And then they were like, yo, man, look, bro, you can save us some money. Just take your ass. Here's a key to the house. Take your ass home. Walk your ass home. So I would literally, in 5th grade, that's when I started walking home. And then that's when 6th grade, I just could not keep my key, man. I would horseplay around and shit. I'm saying all this to say that she was doing some incredible things, man. At 12, man, I couldn't keep a key for shit. But also it says, with her father gone so often, she helped in the fields and with livestock. When her father died in 1831, 14 years old, Sally was running the family ranch handily. She divided up the livestock with a brother who had little interest in ranching and registered her father's brand in her own name. And this is at 14. She was more than capable of running stock. Wow. So that's what I mean about she had I don't want to say tough, but it is tough because you're handling all of this. Not her mom. Not her brothers or her older siblings. 14. She's doing all of this on her own, man. So that's pretty. I mean, salute to Sally Skull for that. Now, this is where things start to get a little bit difficult, if you will. And this is where we can start talking about where Coach's philosophy. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. This is where his wisdom has popped in. So it says in 1833, at the age of 16, Sally fell in love and married her dashing Texas Ranger named Jess Robinson. Wow. Aww. Here is the problem. So the nature of their relationship, it says that they were pretty much at each other's neck. The word that they used was tempestuous. Let me see if I can pronounce it correctly. If I still have it up. Tempestuous. I'm learning words. Here it is.
Tempestuous.
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 Tempestuous, which means characterized by strong or turbulent or conflicting emotion. Similar words: turbulent, stormy, violent, wild, explosive, heated, lively. So if you get the point of what I'm saying is, so 16, they didn't really say how old he was. They just said he was a Texas Ranger. So I'm curious to know how old he was. Of course, we know the times were different back in the day. But anyway, so they were not on the same level in terms of they were going at it. But it says that they did find the smallest time to make children. So they actually had 2 children. How the text read it says it as Sally and her husband, both independent sorts, had a tempestuous, I think I pronounced that right, relationship at best. They managed to quit fighting long enough to produce 2 children, Nancy and Alfred. But it says in 1843, after almost 10 years of unhappiness, they filed for divorce. All right. So here it is. This is where it gets a little murky, man. And I don't want to say she's a bad person. That's not what I'm saying. But although it does say bad girls. But this is where the Coach Greg Adams' wisdoms comes in. So you have Jess Robinson and Sally. They almost 10 years and they get a divorce. And then they said back in that day, divorce was it didn't look good, basically. So these 2 individuals, they going at it. They produce 2 children. Then it says, scandalous as divorce was in those days, Sally soon made an even bolder move. On March 17th, 1843, just 11 days after the divorce went through, she married a gunsmith named George Skull. She would keep this name for the rest of her life, but spelled it Skull. So George Skull was spelled Scull, but she changed it to Skull. Now, 11 days after the divorce, come on now, Mr. George must have been already tipping in that relationship. You can't tell me 11 days after she get a divorce, she just meets this dude and say, you know what? Hey, let's get married. I think George might have been tipping into that relationship. So she might have been doing some adulterous activities. She just didn't get caught. Like another one Coach said, good girls are only bad girls who have not been caught. She did not get caught doing some adulterous activity. But here's the fucked up thing about it, man. And so, Mr. Skull, here's the part where men are in love, women are in business. So, George Skull, you know she's going through a divorce. You have to know she's going through a divorce because you know she has 2 kids. Right? So George Skull marries a lady that's fresh off divorce who has 2 kids. He does this. What the fuck, man? What the fuck, bro? I always ask, why do men Why do men, and I talked about my life briefly, I said I had a step dummy. Why do men take on this baggage? Why take on that baggage? She's a divorcee, and she has 2 kids, and it shows from the previous relationship she's an independent person. Like, she already has this boss attitude, or as the modern people say, she's masculine. Why would he do that? Why would this guy fall on the sword, if you will? Why? Because in my opinion, I think he was in love. I think he was one of these kind of guys like this.
I know I'm not worthy of you, but I just can't help loving you. It's like wanting to touch a star. You know you'll never reach it, but you've just got to keep trying.
Shaking my head, man. So here it is. And another thing that I'm gonna say now, this is bad on Sally. So Sally prevented, as we see in today's time, Sally prevents Mr. Jess Robinson from seeing his own fucking kids, man. She did everything she could to prevent him from seeing his goddamn kids. She even moved all the way. Remember, they were in Texas. She moved all the way to New Orleans. And I'll read this part here. It says, if she thought she was done with Jess Robinson, though she was mistaken, for the next few years, the custody battle over Nancy and Alfred was intense. Those are the kids. Sally finally prevailed, but it took all her savings. As gruff as Sally Skull was, she loved her children and did her best to be a good mother. But how can you be a good mother when you're preventing your children from seeing the father? So I'm not sure why the author said that. But how can you be a good mother when you're preventing the kids from seeing their father, which is odd. And then it says, because she was illiterate and a bit ashamed of it, she saw to it that her son and daughter had excellent education in New Orleans. She chose New Orleans. Here it is. She chose New Orleans partly for the schools, and partly because the distance would further insulate them from their father. That's a bad woman, man. That's a terrible woman, man. That's this. I mean, I'm not saying I don't know her personally, but those actions are very bad, man. Like, you have somebody that's trying to be, you have the father of those kids allegedly, because we can see that she was doing her due. But you have this guy who wanted to be in a part of his kids' lives, and she did everything she could. She drove to another state. And it says partly because of the education, but partly because she wanted to keep the kids from the father. That's some fucked up shit, man. That's fucked up, man. As we see, man, the things of the past are still the same things of the present and will be of the future, man. All right, so let's move on, man. So now she has this marriage with Mr. George Skull. Will that last? Nope. So it says her marriage to George Skull, though, was little more than another shouting match. Sally was stubborn and opinionated. She had helped run her father's ranch from an early age and didn't need a man telling her what to do. Wow. I'm independent. I don't need no man. But here's the thing. Why would she, as this independent woman, why would she need a man? That's the part I'm confused about. Like, you're doing all these successful things, right? You can manage a farm and livestock and horse trading. You can do all these things. Why do you need a man? Why even marry? It was weird. But so it said that their relationship was rocky, and lo and behold, they end up getting a divorce as well. It says the couple made an effort to live together, but the marriage was a failure and would soon end in mystery. Here's the part right here. It ended in a mystery. In 1849, Sally started telling people that George had died. It was never known whether he ran off, was kicked out, faked his own death, or had actually died. They just don't know what happened to him. He just disappeared. He just disappeared. You remember in the previous chapters, like men just disappear and no one says anything, no one looks for him, no one asks any questions. It's just, oh, he just disappeared. Man, that is sad, bro. That is fucking sad. So the story goes on. It says by 1852 she moved her ranch closer to the border near I wanted to say one more thing. I think before she moved here, I thought she moved closer to Gonzales. Maybe I could be mistaken. But anyway, so she moves again and she starts another ranch. They said by Banquet, Texas. I've never heard of this city, but I looked it up. It's near Corpus Christi. If you've ever been in Texas, it's west of Corpus Christi. I looked it up. That's what they said. So here we go. They said she did a lot of business. So she was booming in business. It says she had become a successful horse trader, traveling into Mexico and back to do business. She spoke fluent Spanish and was able to curse with proficiency in both her first and second language. So man, this lady here is booming in business. Why does she need a man? Here it is. Here's something. So she gone through 2 divorces. The second husband came up missing. Now here it is. In October of 1852, she married a 3rd time to a man named John Doyle. And it says it wasn't a good match. And here's the same scenario as husband number 2. Doyle simply disappeared. No one is stopping to say, yo, Sally, baby, where your husband at? Like, no, Sally, we need to find your husband. We need to know what the fuck is going on. And then she makes a comment. So I'll just read the small paragraph. It says, once again, it was suggested she was responsible. Some say she shot him. Or wait, why does it say responsible? It says, once again, it was suggested she was responsible. How? Oh, responsible for the death. Some say she was shot. She shot him, or perhaps tried to drown. They come up with all these excuses. But here's a quote that she said: "I don't give a damn about the body. Should like to know. Should like to have the gold in his money belt." Nobody, come on, man. You don't find that suspicious, man? I ain't got my clip. Oh, you don't find that suspicious. No one found that suspicious that she would say something like that. Anyway, so that was husband number 3. So time moves on. Then here he goes. Apparently, Isaiah Watkins hadn't heard about Skull's record with husbands or didn't care. Watkins married her on December 26, 1855, and things quickly went sour. Now they're saying Skull's 4th husband beat her up and openly played house with a prostitute named Juanita. So now she's the victim now. After all this, now she's a victim. Now remember, she's an independent woman, very opinionated. All of this baggage that she's bringing. But she just so happened to get beat up. Come on. Do we want to believe that? Do you find that suspicious? Do you find that suspicious? I find that suspicious. This lady here, they said she was good with the bullwhip. They said that she could, what was the little funny quote that they said? They said that, that it was said she could shoot the sweat off a fly at 50 feet. With the bullwhip, the old boys from border country claimed she could pluck off the head of a flower or snap off a man's earlobe. Now, all of a sudden, husband number 4, Skull's 4th husband, beat her up and openly played house with a prostitute named Juanita. Why did the author do that? Why did the author do that? And then it says Watkins was so blatant about his affair that he was indicted for adultery by a grand jury. She again divorced. I guess that was the leeway because he was openly about it. he was blatant about his affair. Now she can play the victim. See, I guess the other failed marriages, she didn't have the blatant evidence. So then she easily played the victim. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, man. You got this lady who cuss. She a business person. She doing all this shit. She opinionated. She got missing husbands. People in her background know that this lady can use a gun. She carries it. Like, come on, man. Now she a victim? Get the fuck out of here, man. So check this out, man. So that's her fourth husband. And so now it says, not one to let a few lousy marriages get her down, Skull would shortly try again. In December of 1860, a year before the start of the Civil War, she married her husband number 5. She was in her 40s and he was in his 20s. Here we go with this shit, man. Here we go. So now she in her 40s. Now her 40s, keep in mind, the people of the past, they didn't have the medical advances that we have today, like Botox, skincare. I'm trying to get into skincare. I'll talk about all that later at another time. But so with that being said, in her 40s, man, she was probably wrinkly, and then she got this young dude in his 20s. Wow. Now, look how sneaky this Arthur did this shit. He talks about she was in her 40s. This is the 5th marriage. She was in her 40s, and her buddy when it was in his 20s, right? But you know, in the first marriage, they said she was 16, but they never mentioned how old the first husband was. You know, see how sneaky society is, bro? No, why don't you tell how old the first dude was? Come on, put it all out there. Don't try to hide some of the details. Come on, how old was he? You're okay with the idea of this old woman in her 40s marrying a dude in his 20s, but why can't you openly be okay with her being 16 and this dude being X? We don't know. We don't know. So here it goes. Here it goes. Things are happening. They said it's about to be the Civil War. And it shows, it was saying how she's supportive of the Confederacy, I believe. And she was business was booming for her, man. Like, this lady was making money, man. Making money. And then it says, by the time the war broke out, she realized her new spouse wasn't much better than the old ones. Before long, he would disappear too. Wow. Oh, man. Come on, man. Come on. Out of 5 marriages, 4 of those guys disappeared. Nobody questioned her. None of the authorities said, come here. No, baby. Come here. We need to sit you down. The authorities didn't do none of that. Now, this next sentence is something very important. And it's a short sentence. And this is where Coach Greg Adams, once again, I have to shout him out. It says, but if romance was a bust, business was good. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams, man. Men are in love. Women are in business. It's cold, man. It's a cold game, dog. Here's the philosophy, man. Fellas, please, man. I can't tell you how to control your emotions, man, because we all have emotions. We all have emotions, man. Excuse me, I have to take a little sip of my protein shake. I can't tell you how to control emotions, man, because we all have emotions. The wisdom behind this is try to be self-aware of where you are emotionally, mentally, physically, all of that stuff, man. Just try to be self-aware. It's difficult, man, because human nature is strong, man. It's like we're programmed to be simps, to be gumps. Five guys, bro. All five of these guys neglected to see that this lady is not fit for marriage. Five guys failed to realize, yo, this woman is not fit for marriage. And to be honest with you, I could go on and say she probably wasn't even fit to be a mother, bro. Like you're a businesswoman, like you out and you're doing all of these things. But I didn't hear about the. Well, I guess they kind of mentioned the daughter. She was kind of close to her ranch, so she did often see her daughter. And the son, he had a ranch somewhere, a farm, whatever one it was. So yeah, I give her that. I'll give her that. I wouldn't say she would be a terrible mom. It was just that she did neglect, or she made sure that the kids didn't see the husband. So that's one thing I hold against her. That's fair. I'll be fair. But in essence, man, the whole point of this is, men, we have to be self-aware, man. Watch out, man, for this, man. These are deadly. This is deadly, man. 4 out of the 5 guys came up missing, bro. No one checked for them. All because they were in love. She was in business. I don't know why she married them, though. That's the odd part. I'm like, why marry them? Why fuck? You don't need them, right? You're successful in business. Why even get married? Why do that? That's the part I didn't get. Right? And I guess I can just briefly, just for a few minutes, this is just my ideas. This is my thoughts. I was kind of talking about it on my gaming channel. But on my social media, I get a lot of lesbian content. Not saying it's bad or good. It's just lesbian content. You know, they talk about their lives and experiences sexually, so on and so forth. And I'm one to believe. I don't have any factual proof, but I'm having bits and pieces of information being presented to me, which I end up concluding that women, this is just my thoughts, my opinion. But I think women love women more than they love men. Hence, Coach Greg Adams says men are in love, women are in business. That's the relationship dynamic between man and woman. But you don't hear this dynamic between women and women. I don't hear those dynamics. Now, there are some statistics that say that lesbian couples, the domestic violence is very high. I have heard that statistic before. But I'm like, I mean, can they fix that? I mean, could a lesbian couple work that out some sort of? I have no idea. But I think they are happier. I don't want to say happier, but they would choose. If they could openly choose, I think they would choose women to be in a relationship with women versus being within a relationship with a man. And that could have been with Sally Skull. Maybe she would have been better off with a woman. Right? I mean, because like you ruined, I'm not going to say you ruined those guys, but because they had a part to play in that as well. But I'm just one to believe that women prefer to be with women versus men. Here's an example. So there are some examples where even with the Valentine's Day, they had this thing called Galentines and all this good stuff. And some social media, I wish I would have saved them and I could have presented them, but I'm just kind of giving them off my memory, where it was exposed that when these women have sleepovers and these galentines and these parties and everything, they make it seem as, oh, we're just having a little party. But the uncovering truth is that these women are very intimate sexually with each other during these parties. I'm like, wow. But when it comes to a man, he is more of a utility. There is no love. It's just straight business. But when it comes to women, it's more emotional, if you will. I'm not going to say love, but it's more emotional. There's more emotion there. And yeah, that's just my thoughts, man. I really think that women prefer to be with women. Once again, I'm not against or for it. I don't give a fuck. I mean, that's human nature, you know. It's just the aspect of where do men fit in this thing or in this, or could it be that nature doesn't really give a fuck about love, this idea of love? But why would nature instill this aspect of love in men though? Or could it just be the nature of, as with Sally Skull and her first husband Jess Robinson, I believe that was his name? Could it be that nature is just designing us just to pair up, just to produce more children or produce human beings? Could that just be what it be? And we mix up this idea of hormones and all of this stuff just to have sex and procreate. We mix that up with the idea of love. Maybe it's just men who wrap up this idea in our heads of love. Could that just be it? But I still think that women prefer women. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that, man. All right, we're going to get up out of here, man. I just want to share that. I thought that was a really good subject about Sally Skull. I thought that was really fun. And it just kind of hammers on the point what Coach Gray Adams always talks about, man. Men are in love. Women are in business. All right, guys, let me get out of here. I appreciate you guys for checking out the stream. As always, peace and be kind to your motherfucking self.
Just let me eat you one time. You gonna sleep for 3 days, my baby. I'm gonna make you cry.
How you gonna show us?
Ay, ay, ay.
And I'm kinky, nasty as I want to be. Suck toes, lick scalp, eat ass. What? I eat ass like a crab. Let's get all that out there.